Alright, and in this example, as I said before, we'll add a few fields to the form, and in the JavaScript we'll access these fields, and then we'll draw things dynamically. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. If you go back to the design, I mean, we can do this if you want with the code, but just for simplicity, I'm just going to add them using the design. Okay, so I'm going to put a text field here. I'm going to call that X, and I'm going to say enter X, and hit OK. And let's add another one, another text field, and I'm going to say that enter Y, Y, and then for the label enter Y, and then we will add another field. I'm going to call that color. Okay, text field. Okay, I'm going to call it my color, and then I'm going to say choose color. Okay, this is a new tag in HTML5. Alright, now if you go to the code, you notice that we have all these fields. Enter X, and then that is the value of X, the name is X, the ID is X, enter Y, the name of X, and the type is text. But this one, the type, I'm going to change it to color instead of a text. Now if you view it in the design, it looks like a text, but if you in Dreamweaver 4, but if you use it in Dreamweaver 5, Dreamweaver 6, then it should be fine. Now if I do view in Chrome, yes, then you'll notice that I have that color tag that allows me to choose color. Now let's just close all of these. So we have a lot. Should have just do refresh instead of that, but okay. If I view it in Explorer, notice the difference. Oh, what do you know? The canvas worked, draw works, but the color tag is not working. Okay, that's the tag, some of the HTML5 tags, as I said, they're not supported in the Explorer. Alright. Okay, so let's go back to our example here. Now, the draw, what we're going to do, we're going to get the value of X, the value of Y, and then based on the color they select, we will draw a rectangle in that particular position. So we'll go back to our code, and in that function that I said draw, first I need to get access to those variables. So I'm going to say define var. Now here's a trick here. We have var x underscore text, I'm going to call it, equal document get element by ID, and I'm going to call get x. Now remember we have x defined, and I'm going to do the same thing, control Y, control copy, control V, and this is going to be Y text, and this is going to be Y, and the last one color V, I'm going to call it C text, or just color here, I don't need C text. Okay, color text, and here it should say my color. Okay, that's the name that we named it, just to make sure that we're on the right side. My color, right? Okay, my color. Now this is no problem. What you're doing is that you're actually getting the text field that you see on the form. But this is a problem. These two are a problem. Why these are problems? Because these are text field, but you want to get, and when you get the value, you're getting a string value. But if you want the numeric value, you have to parse it to, you have to parse these value to numbers. And the way you do it in JavaScript, you'll have to define another variable called x, for example, equal parse int, and then you give it the value, which is the variable, which is x underscore txt dot value. That will give you the value of x, and then using the function parse int, that will parse the integer, the value to an integer. Now x is an integer. I can do calculation on that. I do the same thing, var y equal parse int, and then I say y underscore text dot value. Alright, so now I have x and y. Now the next thing I need to do is that I want to use the color that I selected instead of that color. So here I say, instead of fill style equally hard-coded color, I will use c underscore dot text dot value, and that will give me the color that they have chosen. And instead of this, I'm gonna say x, and then y. You can leave the position to 100, the size 100 and 100, but you can also, if you can do the same thing by entering two values, two input field, one width and one height, and then you can do maybe we'll do that just to show you the one more function. Alright, so if we view it in Chrome, you'll see that when I click on that function, if I enter, for example, 50, oops, where did Chrome go? Okay, if I say 50, and then I select green color, hit OK. Notice the green is here. Now if I click on draw, I get my rectangle there. If I select 100 and select blue color, hit OK, draw, I get another rectangle. Is that clear? Alright, so that's how you do you enter values and use them in JavaScript. Now if I did clear, notice it clears the field. Now we'll do something to clear this drawing. Alright, so if we go back to Explorer, to Dreamweaver, here's Dreamweaver, and if I did, why do we have an error here? Oh, we got a 0 at the big front. If I did, in this draw function, I just want to make sure that the user does not enter values that are outside the boundaries for x and y. So what do? I will put an if statement here. If statement, if x is less than 0, or x, this is how you do or in, this is how you put, if you know Java, this is how you do ors in if statement. Or x is greater than what? Greater than the width, the canvas width, okay, then you will put x cannot, you will put an alert message saying x cannot be, you will put an alert, you inform the user you have a problem, x x must be between 0 and the other value and this value, and then we need to get the value from the canvas.width. Canvas.width. Okay, and then we do the same thing in here. Control copy, Control V, and then you say the same thing. If y is less than 0 and y is greater than, or y is greater than canvas.height, then you say y must be between 0 and canvas.height. Okay. All right. Now one more thing, of course, you want to not to draw if you have an error. Now the way you do that, you would define either a Boolean function. You say var flag equal false, and then here you will say every time you find an error, you say flag equal true, and same thing in here, you say flag equal mean true, that means you got an error, equal true. Then you will say in here if error, if flag equal false, that means there's no error because it started with an error. It started as false, so that means there's no error. Then you draw. Okay. And the equal should be, of course, as you know in Java, should be double equal. And we have here an error. Alright, now if I run it, I should not, it should give me an error messages if I try to enter values. Previewing Chrome. Yes. Now if I put -5 and if I put 700, I will get 2 alerts. Okay. X must be between 0 and 400 and Y must be between 0 and 600. Alright, so but if I enter proper value and then do a draw, you'll get that. The last thing I want to do is this clear button, and then we'll be done with these 3 videos. Alright, so what we do, we go back to Dreamweaver, and I have a button called reset, remember? And what I want to do is that I'm going to say on click clear drawing equal clear drawing. Okay. All right. So now this button is expecting, in addition to the reset, which reset all the fields, we'll call this function called clear drawing, and I need to have that function to make sure I got the right spelling. Control copy, and then I'll do here Control V, and then I call that function. Okay, and one thing I need to do is that in Canvas context you have a function called clear rectangle, and then you give it 0, 0, the width of the canvas, and the height, that width, and then the height of the canvas, dot height, and that would clear it all. But now if I want to put the same background and the same color, because this will be clear, I mean it will be blank white. So what do you do, unless if you have, as I said, unless you have cascading style sheets? So what do you do? Remember those two line of code that I had earlier? These things, I'll just copy those, control copy, or I'll tell you what, I'm going to do control X from here, and I'm going to add them here, control V, and you know what, why we have the code in two places? Since I have it in this function now, all I'll do is I'll call this function at the beginning, at the start, so it will give me it'll clear anything in the drawing, and it will draw these borders. So here I don't need this draw center anymore. You saw the purpose of that. So I'm going to say clear drawing, and then watch what happens now. If we do this, previewing Chrome, yes, and I can draw that. Remember that rectangle in the center is gone because I removed it. Okay, 55, 55, and then the color is this, and I hit OK, and I click on draw, it's there. Now if I click on clear, it will disappear. Alright, that's the end of this basic usage of Canvas and some JavaScript functions and some little bit of validation. Now you can do a lot more with this, but this is just to get you started. Canvas has the context of a canvas is it has a rich library of drawing things. You can draw lines, you can draw you can draw path, you can draw all sort of stuff. Okay, but this is just a start. Maybe I'll make another video to show you the different drawings you can do with its canvas. All right, have a good day, and we'll see you in the next video.